The jumping up and down and screaming can end because I am finally getting around to doing a Q&A. Hello everybody, this is My Profile is Great, and take a look at this. Ooh, future blog topics. Ooh, Q&A questions. Oh my. I am so excited. I have got a huge day of recording to do today, and I decided to start out with the best topic in the world, and that is answering my beloved fans' questions. Most of these people are the people I've noticed that I talk to on a consistent basis, which is kind of cool. You know, you got questions from Prime Sonic, we're buds, Never Chris, we're buds, Batman, we're buds. It's kind of sad, really, how little these questions are from just random people. But there's a few surprises here. I'm gonna start this whole thing off with some questions from Prime Sonic because, you know, Prime Sonic is super cool. I love that guy. One of his first ones here is, what's been the most significant, important changes in your life in the past year? It's been about a year since I've been recording videos, you know, the whole daily mutterings thing. At the time, I was kind of, I don't know, I was very unsure of myself, and I wasn't sure that I really wanted to communicate so much what was going on in here and right here. When I was confused about so many different concepts, I'd gone through a pessimistic stage, you could say. And I think I'm kind of out of that now. I'm back to being Mr. Positive all the time and seeing the bright side of things. And I'm starting to realize that everybody goes through these stages. Everybody goes through a point when everything just sounds like shit, everything seems like shit, and the whole life just seems like a big giant joke. And then you realize that that's not a way to live, at least for me. I cannot live through life just thinking the worst of everybody and thinking the worst of every situation that I'm in. It's not to say that I was, you know, the most horrible person in the world during that year, but I think I had denied myself so many pleasures because I had figured, you know what, I'm above this and I'm above this. I need to be an adult now. I need to figure out some happy adult thing to do. And now I'm beginning to realize that my path to destiny is what I feel passionate about, the things that really get me going. And that's how I've changed over the last year. I am back to being my old self, I would say. But it's more like old self 2.0. I have taken on the maturities of being an adult while also embracing those little childish things that make life great. Because you only get one chance at life, and I think everybody forgets this every so often, and it is the worst cliche in the world to throw at somebody, but you only get one shot. Let me repeat that again for those of you who weren't listening. One shot. You make the best of what you've got, and you know what? If you enjoy just talking about the nerdiest crap like Powerpuff Girls or whatever, you just go for it, man. Don't care about what other people think about it. Just go, go, go. And that is how I have changed over the last year. So we can mark that one off. Oh, and I also got into a serious relationship, which tends to change your perception on a lot of things too. I'm not sure if I really want to go into details about that just because, you know, there's some parts of your private life that you want to remain private, even though you keep on mentioning, oh, me and my girlfriend did this and me and my girlfriend did that. But I absolutely love her, and that ends up changing, you know, your attitude somewhat. Is there an aspiration? Oh no, that's another Prime Sonic question. Let's get past Prime Sonic, shall we? Let's go to a Never Chris question. What did you think of the Avengers? Alright, I want to put a complete disclaimer right here for everybody listening to me. I went into this way too overhyped. I looked at the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I got really, really excited. Before that point, though, I looked at the teaser trailers and I went, you know what, this doesn't really look like it's going to be for me. It just kind of looks like a muddled mess of different heroes, like fighting each other over some vague story about Loki and all this. It's not really going to have all that deep thematically, like the kind of stuff that I like, the sort of themes that you would find in The Dark Knight or some of the better Spider-Man films. And what ended up happening is that I went to see it late at night. There was a ton of people there. This was opening weekend. Didn't expect there to be that many people. It was pretty shocking. I found myself kind of bored with it after the first like 30, 45 minutes. And I'll justify this. I went in expecting a lot more out of this movie than I think it could reasonably deliver considering how many characters there are in it. This is more of a look at the cool action set piece, oh that character said a funny line sort of movie. It's all about the interactions between these different characters, their weird personality quirks and everything, more than it is about the overarching story. I was going in expecting a lot more of a plot, because I saw the great reviews and I went, oh my god, this is going to be great. You're going to really delve into the psychology of everybody and their group dynamic, and it doesn't really do that. This is more of just a silly, fun superhero movie. But as a super fun superhero movie, I thought it was about 30 minutes too long. You go into something like this, unless you have a really, really good plot, for me, there's no excuse for a movie to be 2.5 hours. Unless you really got something meaty there. I didn't feel like this movie really delivered on that. A lot of the character interactions just sort of felt like a musical chairs of, okay, so-and-so hasn't talked to so-and-so yet, so let's have a funny little scene where they talk. Oh, Iron Man hasn't really communicated with Captain America yet, so let's have a little interaction there. Where it's kind of, you could replace that with just about anything else and the story would still be the same. I didn't really feel like there was a whole lot of consequence with the actions that all these people make. There wasn't a whole lot of stakes. You sort of see them fight against this huge alien armada, and not for a moment did I really go, oh my god, they're in serious danger here. I can't wait to see how they get out of this, because I knew there would be some kind of cop-out ending at some point. And all the aliens were all going to blow up or something, and Loki was going to get captured. There wasn't a single doubt in my mind, and most of the time, the best kinds of movies of these types really get you excited about, you know what, I know how this is probably going to end, but looking at how things are developing, it could go any number of ways. I'm really curious to see how this all works out, and I didn't really get that, and maybe it was over expectation on my part. There's certainly a lot of fun things in the movie. The Hulk was certainly hilarious. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. is always great, regardless of what you put him in. It was alright. I wasn't that into it. I can't wait to see it again on Blu-ray and kind of reevaluate without all the expectations and hype crushing down on me. I can see why people really liked the movie. I'm just not one of its biggest supporters, sadly. Which is, you know, it's a bummer. Alright, Tuzo Anime asks, are you taking business classes now? Do you like business? I like how we go from the Avengers to business classes. It's just such an interesting range of questions that we've got going on these Q&As. Alright, yeah, I am taking a business class. Actually, I'm taking Introduction to Business. It has been pretty exciting so far as classes go. I don't know, I think business is really up my alley because I really like to see how things are marketed and how they're geared towards people and how you play into that kind of psychology. And whatever business class you're probably going to take, there's going to be a fragment of that in there where you're going to discover, okay, you market this towards this certain kind of audience. You can't always aim at everybody. Sometimes it's good to go after just this little tiny market right here. And I think that's all very, very interesting. And it's part of the reason why I kind of look at it, and it's really depressing that the internet has kind of come in, and the internet has sort of wiped out a lot of small businesses. You no longer have that cool kind of community with the comic book stores. A lot of them are dead. And I made a video about that like a year ago, but the death of the comic book store is probably one of the most depressing things in the world. And if I were to achieve something in my lifetime that would be of great worth, I would love to open up like an amazing comic book store that everybody would want to go to. Kind of like that Atomic Comics and Kick-Ass. I would love that kind of thing, actually. Maybe I should look into that for possibilities of my future. Alright, Kaza Bang. He doesn't usually comment on my videos, so I like that I got a comment from this guy. Fuck these life questions, he says. Are you gonna get Diablo 3? Yes and no is my answer to that question. Right now, I'm kind of tight money-wise, so I don't really want to delve into a $60 game and sort of only semi-get into it and then feel like I had wasted my money when there's so many other hack and slash games on the market that I can get for like 10 or 15 bucks off of Steam or something. I'm sure that it's a great game. I've heard good things about it other than the whole crashing issue that it's having. But with Blizzard, I think I know pretty safely what the game is going to be. It's going to be Diablo 2 with some streamlined features, some new features, some flashy graphics, and that's about it. It's going to be a Diablo game. And for me, I don't know, 60 bucks is an awful lot to ask for a hack and slash game, especially when I have Torchlight on my computer. But you know, it's not going to be of the same quality, but it's of the same vein, and I'm pretty happy playing Torchlight. It's fun, it's cute, it's got adorable graphics and everything. All right, Mattman asks, how do I get a girl boyfriend? Thanks, Profile Sensei, and you are welcome, Mattman. This really depends on the girl or boy. That's a very obvious answer. But the best that I can say is, you know what? The cliches always work. Be yourself. If you are becoming a phony you in order to impress somebody, it is not going to work at all. And I've got to say, though, you have to be cautious about what kind of things you leak out right away. There's some things about yourself that, you know, it's good to gradually pull people in. And flirting is a very, very dangerous area to get into, especially for geeks, because some of us are very socially awkward like me, and I had a lot of bad experiences with, you know, trying to court a girl and it not quite working. You just brush off your shoulders and you move on. That's a very important key to getting a girlfriend, is not to give up because there was a big old disaster on your hands. You just keep on going. You find a new girl, you start over, and eventually, maybe someday, you'll find the love of your life. And that's the way life works in general. You don't give up and you be yourself. That's the way that you enjoy life at the very, very best. If you guys are noticing, I tend to have the same message all the time, and that is just enjoy it. Even the stress, take the stress and let it be your wings, man. Because if you are stressed, like stressed, and that's all you can think about, try and find a way to turn it into a bit of a game for yourself. Like, you're going to go through some miserable times, but try and find ways to fix it. Because nobody deserves misery, and sometimes you're going to be stuck in misery. But you got to find that light somehow. Alright, well, now all we've got left is Prime Sonic questions. This is so fun. Is there an aspiration you had in your teenage years that you no longer have? There's a lot of aspirations that I had in my teenage years that were kind of bullshit. Let me try and think of some, actually. Nope, I'm going to say nope to that one. I'll come back to it. What does real love mean to you? Real love is when you can come back to a person at night and you can just hug them and everything melts away. It's not always going to happen this way. Sometimes you're going to be as angry as hell at them and things aren't going to seem like they're working. But you know what? You work it out. Love is work. Love is not something that you just exists and you don't have to work at it. Sometimes you have to water that plant. You have to go in, gotta take your little watering thing, sprinkle some compliments around, some genuine compliments, and you make it work. Love is the most wonderful thing when the gears are in the correct positions. Sometimes you gotta dust them off. What would you say are the driving forces behind where you are taking your life? Right now, I think the driving force for me is basically just finding out how to balance being able to have a house and following my passions. And maybe sometimes those two will run parallel to each other. I'm trying to map out my life and figure out those particular things. That's really... I am getting crazy right now because I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Let me try and explain it this way. Passions work. If you can find a way to make those two things correlate, things will be better. And I'm trying to find out how exactly I can correlate my passions with the work and be able to have the best life that I can. That is my driving force right now. How much sex do you get on an average? Whoa. This question's way too personal, so I'm just going to X that out. Alrighty. So that's pretty much all the questions for this week. I want to go back to real love very quickly. and say that you have to find the right partner that's willing to work as well. You cannot be the only one giving affection. It has to be a give and take thing. You two have to tackle challenges together. And if she isn't willing to tackle things with you, to follow you just as you follow her, it's going to be a mess. I don't believe in the whole thing of like, the wife has to be there for the husband and support him and whatever. No, it's a give and take thing. That's what makes relationships work. Sometimes she's going to be the man in the relationship. Sometimes you're going to be the man in the relationship. Because you are honest with each other. And there is that mutual bond, and that's what makes it work. All right, that was the Q&A for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it, despite my rambling, and I shall see you on the next Q&A. Mwah. Romantic kiss.